Okay, let's do one question for every Eastern Conference team. And for the order of this, I'm going to bounce around between like top of the standings, then bottom of the standings for last regular season. So we start with the Bucks. And I mean, look, the big change they made in the offseason was going from Budenholzer to Adrian Griffin. And so what are the changes going to be there? I mean, I've tried to look at as much as I can about Griffin, and based on what he has said, he wants more ball movement and more off-ball movement on offense, specifically in the half court, which, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's been the one, I don't know if weakness is the word, even though it ended up looking ugly by the end of that Heat series, but, you know, the half court offense has been inconsistent for these guys. And so as far as what that means, I mean, he didn't go into specifics, but I would imagine, like, the easy thing to imagine is Drew and Middleton, little corner actions, you know, down screens for him. You would do something from there, of course. My favorite two plays are them having Giannis screen for Middleton and then Brook screening for Giannis. Of course, Adrian Griffin is going to have many more ideas than I do. As for the defense, I mean, he has said that he's a defense-first coach. Okay, the Bucks were already a defense-first team. Like, does he want to make drastic changes there? I don't know. Because, of course, look, listen, putting Brook Lopez in a drop and having Giannis as the help guy, putting Drew on the lead guard, it equals out to a great defense every season. So we'll see with the Bucks. Next, we go to the Pistons. My question is just about Cade and Ivy's fit. I mean, we have not seen them together for much besides 12 games, and I decided to take a look at some of their shot attempts in the games that they did play together early this previous season before Cade went down. And look, there were some times where Ivy would cut as Cade was driving. There were a couple of times when like Ivy would set a ghost screen for Cade where like you act like you're going to set a screen and then run to the wing basically. There were a couple of like simple DHOs where Cade's just dribbling it up, throw it to Ivy, and then set a screen for him. So like there were little things here and there, but obviously with a full season we expect them to be able to expand on that stuff. And also, another thing I looked at, this season, Jaden Ivey was 37% on catch and shoot threes. I think that's encouraging. Next we go back to the top of the standings. Let's go to my Celtics. It's all about Porzingis, man. Specifically, if he can be the missing piece for them on offense. Now look, Marcus, he mattered a lot as a ball handler and a passer, but when teams go into switching defense or when Miami goes into a zone defense and it can mess up the Celtics' playoff crunch time offense, whatever you want to say, you would hope Porzingis can be the counter for that, right? Where you can plant him wherever there's an opening in the zone, and then from there he can make the mid-ranger because he's made a lot of those in his career and he's gotten better at them. And then, of course, him as a screen setter, right? If they're going to switch on him, can he hold up on his post-up stuff that he was doing last year for the Wizards, which can give the Celtics another outlet to go at a switching defense, which can sometimes put them into a very ISO-heavy thing where, sure, Tatum and Jalen, they're great, but, we've all seen their offense just fall apart in the worst moments, right? I think the one stat with Porzingis which shows the improvements he made as a post-up guy, whether it's going at smaller guys, being more aggressive, like getting a little closer to the rim, all that stuff, is last year he shot 50% on 4 attempts a game on shots in the paint, but not right at the rim. And of course, he's going to shoot threes and he's going to protect the basket and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a hell of a shift to go from what Marcus gave him as a ball handler and all that stuff to what Porzingis can do for him. Now let's go to the Hornets. My question is all about Mark Williams. So at the tail end of last season, when Mark Williams was starting to get real minutes, the Hornets' defensive rating kind of skyrocketed. And so, like, truth be told, this might not even technically be a question. It's more so just like, yeah, let's just see it moving forward. We were all waiting for it. Let's just see it for a whole season. I mean, the thing with Mark Williams is like, yeah, he can do your typical drop big stuff, but he's also shown like some switchability. Like I remember when the Mavericks lost those games to the Hornets, like he was switching on to Lucas sometimes and holding up okay. I'm pretty sure he was also playing higher up on screens sometime as well. Not just in those Dallas games, but like in general, I mean. And so he can just do a lot of things defensively. And then on the other end, he's just got all the makings of a classic lob threat, dunker spot, downhill gravity type of big, which is perfect next to LaMelo, but also it gives you a little more juice around the basket because, you look at Brandon Miller, and I think Brandon Miller is definitely going to be good. I also don't know if he's going to be living at the free throw line. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Mark Williams. I want to talk about the Heat now because if I was going to go in the normal order, they would have gone last, and that just felt weird to me. Of course, the Dame stuff is floating over their head, but what I'm wondering with Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, on to other teams now, can Spoelstra and these guys just keep on doing what they've been doing, which is basically being like, look, whoever we've got, we're going to get the most out of him. Look, Josh Richardson is back, and besides just being a decent enough defensive wing, his three ball's been mostly fine, and I think about like the way Spoelstra had PJ Tucker doing more than just standing in the corner for him that one year. I feel like he could have a similar thing with Jay Rich. You think about Jovic, he's a skilled big guy. We'll see if Spoelstra gives him minutes like that. Jaime Jaquez is trying to cook from within the three-point line, although he did have some moments shooting threes in Summer League. Now we go to the Sixers, and I've said this one before, and of course the real big question with them right now is just everything with James Harden, but again, I've said this before, but like, just what can Nick Nurse do to sort of throw an extra jolt of something into this team? I mean, look, last year the Raptors, they were third in offensive rebound percentage. The Sixers were like 25th or something like that. You know, does Nick Nurse want them to attack the offensive glass a little more often? Of course, we've seen at times Nick Nurse just have kind of wacky defenses, whether it's like putting two on the ball or being really aggressive with the help coming out of the corner. Like, what is the balance you want to have there? Of course, the big difference is Joel is a great rim protector, so you don't have to be as aggressive with help, but still, we'll see what Nick Nurse can do there. And also, can he get the offense, which, similar to the Celtics offense, can sometimes get kind of rough in, tough playoff matchups and stuff. Can he just make it a little less mechanical, where it's like Joel face up, Joel post up, or it's, it was Harden and Embiid pick and roll, I don't know, moving forward. Very effective plays, but also, if you know it's coming, you could game plan for it, all that stuff. And I think a lot of that can be from Maxey, just because of how fast he is off the catch, and he looks good coming around handoff actions with Embiid and stuff. Now let's go to the Magic. I think I'm going with the fit of Anthony Black. I mean, I've said enough about Anthony Black in the sense of, like, I think the passing, the defense, and the IQ should allow him to fit in well around Fultz, Paulo, Franz, Wendell, the whole thing. But still, it's like, look, Fultz is huge for them as a ball handler, and the mid-range is pretty damn all right. And of course, Anthony's going to have his times where he's not playing with Fultz on the floor, and, whether it's him and Suggs or him and Cole Anthony, another guy who wants the ball like that. Like, I just want to see what it's all going to look like. Also, for what it's worth, Jalen Suggs did improve his three ball in year 2. Yeah, he still needs another jump to go, I understand, but, it got a little better. Okay, let's go to Cleveland. I'm going to be a broken record on this one, man. It's Evan Mobley's offense. There's a chance I'm remembering this wrong, but I do feel like in that round 1 series against the Knicks would put 2 on the ball whenever Mobley would screen, and they would just dare him to try to do something at the rim, and it just didn't happen enough. Granted, they also put an extra guy in the paint from playing off of the Cavs wing players, and now they got Max Strus and Niang for more shooting. Whether that's trying to finish over Mitchell Robinson, whether that's getting his floater game on, whether that's, I don't know, if you're open for like a free throw line jumper, it just didn't happen. And I thought it was going to based on how he was looking in the regular season. And so, I mean, I guess it's general improvement at all these things between handle and, back to the basket stuff, which again, like, he's shown it. Like, you can find moments of him like busting out nice looking hook shots and stuff in the regular season, but clearly there's another level to get to, probably getting a little stronger as well. I do know that there's been like a big picture question brought up with Cleveland recently, which is like, will they one day have to move Jared Allen and have a Mobley at center and get like another wing player or whatever? I don't really think we're at that point yet, because I just think Mobley and Allen together is so good on defense that I think you just got to be patient. Anyway, now we go to the Wizards. This is more of a general one. Let's just see how all the young guys do. Let's see where Denny's jump shot gets to. We'll see if they give Denny more on-ball reps. Corey Kispert, I imagine, is just going to shoot way more threes. Dude's already an awesome shooter. They gave Koulibaly pick and roll reps in Summer League. It was a bit of a mixed bag, but there was some encouraging things in there, especially just his speed with the ball. And then, of course, Jordan Poole's going to shoot 1,000,000 shots, and Tyus Jones is going to keep on being Tyus Jones. We can go to the Knicks. Honestly, my question with the Knicks is just on Quentin Grimes. So, regular season-wise, his 3-ball was there, 39%, 6 a game. Playoffs, it was not as good. We'll just put it like that. So, okay. Really, though, I feel fine about his 3-ball. The thing with Grimes is, like, he's got this off-the-catch game that's kind of interesting, because he's not like a speed demon with the ball or anything, but he's really good at kind of making his move before he catches the ball, to where it kind of looks like he's almost like fast-forwarding in real life. I'm not kidding. This is a real thing. And so for whatever that all means, I don't know, but I just want to see another year of it, and if he can expand on it. And then defensively, I mean, I assume Tibbs is just going to keep giving him the toughest assignment night in and night out. So yeah, Grimes is good. Now let's go to the Pacers. Is Obi Toppin going to finally get unleashed, man? Someone had a great compilation on Twitter of moments where Obi was open for something, whether it's like him cutting from the corner or him getting a good seal around the basket or whatever, and the Knicks just not finding him the ball. I think it's safe to say that Halliburton is going to make Obi's day a lot easier. Just all those moments are going to be lobs, or just Halliburton's going to find him for routine stuff. The transition game is going to be awesome. And we're also going to see just how many different types of screen actions can Rick Carlisle get Obi involved in, whether it's on the ball, off the ball. It should be good stuff. And of course, the biggest thing being he's going to get more minutes. Now we go to the Nets. This one's pretty easy. Ben Simmons. We have reports as of yesterday that say that his health is good, the back is doing well, and he's focusing on actual on-the-court stuff and not just rehabbing it right now, so that's great for Ben. If he can get back to what he was defensively, with McHale and Nick Claxton on this team, that's a fun team, man. As far as the fit of Ben and Claxton on offense, you know what, we'll see. Let's go to the Bulls. Patrick Williams. Look, man, he's got the size and he's got these moments of pull-up jumpers or catch and shoots or whatever to where there's something encouraging, but the Bulls are just so much of Levine and DeRozan that it's like Patrick Williams, he might just be destined to be a role player on the Bulls, then he goes somewhere else, and then it's like, oh, look at that. So I don't know. Besides that, I mean, like Javon Carter should be a nice fit for him. Good on-ball defender, the 3 balls there. Now for the Hawks, I mean, just what Quinn Snyder can do for this team on both sides of the floor. I kind of want to look at the defense more because, I mean, they finished like 20-something in defensive rating, which is weird because in the beginning of the season they were good on defense, and for what it's worth, their starting 5 was pretty damn all right on both sides of the floor. So it might just be a lineup situation, but it did feel like there were moments where the Hawks would just kind of like switch and then do nothing else on defensive possessions, and they would just get kind of beat on stuff last year. And so whether that's more aggressive help, whether that's just a different defensive scheme, like we'll see. You know, Capella, he's in, if not rumors, then in something floating out there right now. And, you know, DeJounte's good on defense, but I don't think those two can carry a whole defense. And you can put a Congo in here too. I mean, he's splitting minutes with Capella at the 5 spot, but he's good as well. And I think he'll bring more variety to the offense. Now let's get to the Raptors. So some of this is Scotty Barnes and his place in Darko's offense. But really, look, if you want to read up on Darko Rajakovic, their new coach, the common thing you will see is that this dude knows how to coach offense, specifically pick and rolls and not just super basic stuff up top, you know? And I don't remember where I saw this, but I remember seeing this stat, which was basically like, whenever Darko is on a coaching staff, the team he's on runs way less ISOs, which for the Raptors' sake, that's pretty hype because their offense was in the mud at times last season. And as far as how Scotty specifically fits into that, I mean, look, Scotty, he's got ball handling and he's got passing skills and he's really tall. Like, we get it, right? And he's been a good inside finisher. The question is the jump shot, of course. And so some of the question is just like, how much of the offense is Darko going to give to Scotty? And I mean, look, Siakam, I don't know if they're going to move him. Of course, we've all seen the rumors of it, but he was handling and creating a lot in their offense last year and all that. And so I guess really what I'm asking is just how can Darko just change this offense? If not completely, then by a decent amount. Of course, Pirtle being here now and his screen setting and just putting him in the dunker spot can certainly help things.